It's a film with three brains. 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 It's a film with three brains.
Oh my god, you guys are freaks. I want you to hit me as hard as you can. Why? How much can you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight.
Wait, let me start earlier. Like many of you, I was stuck.
No, you can't die from insomnia.
I'd flip through catalogs and wonder, what kind of dining set defines me as a person? This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. I prayed for a different life.
Soap. I make and I sell soap.
And this is how I met Tyler Durden.
Come on, hit me before I lose my nerve. Oh, ow! You hit me in the ear!
It was on the tip of everyone's tongue.
Can I be next?
We just gave it a name.
Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
After Fight Club, we all started seeing things differently.
You're gonna have to keep me up all night.
And she ruined everything.
You're not into her, are you?
No, God, not at all.
We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be movie gods and rock stars, but we won't.
He had a plan. To what purpose? In Tyler we trusted.
I gotta take Fight Club up a notch. Each one of you has a homework assignment. You're gonna start a fight with a total stranger.
That's not necessary.
You're gonna lose.
That hurt.
You were looking for a way to change your life. You got it.
I'm stopping this.
It's already done, so shut up.
What kind of sick game are you playing?
Oh my God.
Where is my mind? Where is my... This is too much.
In the end, you will thank me.
Whoa! Whoa!
Hello and welcome to the Film with Three Brains. I am Sean in Wisconsin.
And this is Cohen in Maplewood, New Jersey.
And it's Sam in San Francisco.
All right. 3, 1, 2, 3. Heads up. We're going to talk about Fight Club. 1999, David Fincher movie starring Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, Helena Bonham Carter. And boy, I don't even know where to start, but I mean it's now considered a cult classic, but back in the day when it was new, it didn't wow everyone, but I have some fond memories of it, and
Sure.
still, how much have you guys seen this, or how many times do you think you've seen this? Then now, whenever.
This was number 2.
Really?
Yep.
It seems to be his default answer.
Yeah,
That's your default answer. Like, you're like 2, yeah. I mean, Cohen says it, but he's kind of guessing. he's like, I saw it in the theater. I saw it when it came out.
I definitely saw it in the theater. I definitely saw it on the Keanu video. And I've seen it a couple times since, probably. I mean, we watched when I first moved to New York, me and my roommates, one of us had a DVD of it, and the commentary for this is particularly enjoyable.
Oh, I should have checked that out.
Yeah, it's really good. It's Brad Pitt and David Fincher. I don't remember if Edward Norton is there. Maybe he is, but Brad Pitt and David Fincher have like a good rapport, and sort of their discussion about this movie is really interesting. And it's pretty funny. So I've seen it a few times outside of my traditional movie theater video rental.
Okay. And we all kind of remembered what happens at the end. And I mean, the first time you watch this, I guess I could give a quick summary. Edward Norton is, well, let's just get right to it. He's Tyler Durden, but he doesn't know it. Spoiler. Start at the end, work backwards. No, and he's a guy that's displeased with his life. His apartment blows up. He meets this guy named Tyler Durden. They start a fight club, which is kind of what it sounds, but then it becomes Project Mayhem, which is much more ambitious in its scope. And in the meantime, they're sort of having a weird not three-way, but you know what I mean, a weird friendship relationship with Helena Bonham Carter. And yeah, then in the last act, it is revealed that actually there is no Tyler Durden, but somehow it's still the idea of Tyler Durden. Well, he set up this Project Mayhem so that it's not supposed to fail, even if he's actually trying to prevent it, because now she is involved and she is in danger. And we'll come back to the end later because I don't want to talk about it now. But that's pretty much it. Is this weird sort of finding yourself type of venture of these 30 something year old men, specifically. I don't know why it's specifically men, but it is. And what to do about what to make of the world, and still be not be ineffectual modern men, but something different, I guess. I don't know if that's a good description, but we'll start with that. And I also want to ask if you guys have read the book by Chuck Palahniuk.
I have.
I have not.
Okay.
I kind of wish I had.
It's a lot of the dialogue is right from the book, so I don't think you've missed. I mean, you missed it out in the discussion, but I mean, it's a small. Well, I mean,
I think this is probably one of the few cases where I thought the movie was probably better than the book, or it's close, which is rare. What's that?
The author said so.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the book well. It's short. It's a quick read. I remember liking it, but I remember when I saw I read the book first and then I saw the movie, and I remember thinking the movie was more enjoyable. Yeah. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a very enjoyable. It's fun to watch for sure.
Yeah,
and you said it didn't do that great, right? When it came out.
I don't think it did poorly.
There's a great anecdote I read about at the premiere. Brad Pitt and Edward Norton were sitting in the back laughing because they thought it was so funny, and no one in the audience was responding at all. And then when it was over, everybody booed. And at that moment, Brad Pitt leaned into Edward Norton. He said, "This is the best movie I'm ever going to be in." He loved it.
That's awesome.
Is it true?
The booing didn't seem to bother him the slightest.
Do you think it's true?
No, I don't think it's his best movie, but I think he's great in it. And I think it's a hell of a lot of fun to watch, and it's quotable, and it's so rewatchable too. It's a little long.
It's longer than I remember.
And I know it's definitely like most of it is satire, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it, and in that regard, it feels a little juvenile, like as a 51-year-old father of two, I watch it and just think it's just silly,
Right.
But the satire of it's good. I really enjoy. It's just like, it starts to get a little lost. The satire gets a little lost there in the middle, and it feels a little bit more like a straightforward macho alpha male kind of wet dream,
Right.
But I mean, it's funny as hell, and the actors are all great.
I was impressed with the acting this time around. Like because of the third act, split personality sort of dynamic. The fact that you needed really good acting to pull it off. Like,
sure.
Because I was looking, the end. I think they asked Chuck Palahniuk, like, what, did you think the ending? You think the whole like it's Tyler Durden doesn't exist is going to work with audiences? And he said, well, if they've stuck around this long, it'll work. If they've stuck through the movie, if they haven't walked out of the theater by then, we've got them, and they're going to go along with it from that point on. And that's totally true, because by then it's everything else is really interesting. Not just, was he actually just hitting himself the whole time?
Right.
But also the
twist isn't necessary for the film to work.
Right. Exactly.
It's just like an added little bonus.
It's a bonus
that works. It works well.
Yeah.
But it also works if they didn't do it. That's an interesting sort of thing. Like The Sixth Sense as a film is totally bland without the twist.
Right.
It's okay, but the twist makes that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, Fincher and the editors, I think, were pretty masterful in the way that they did it, because you're like, for just an example, like the security cameras in the building at the end when he's dragging himself,
Yeah.
like there's some, it's like surreal type of moments that you're like, even though you already know what the reality is, you're still like, yeah, but it's Tyler Durden, and then he's actually fighting himself, and but just the movie part quality of it, like the storytelling and the execution of it, just seems really hard to pull off. And maybe I don't think you could do this movie anymore. I think it's pretty unique. I mean, maybe I'm overstating it, or maybe I'm I'm forgetting some other movies that are like it. But I mean, let's use like The Game for an example.
Mm-hmm.
The Game was a big twist. It had a lot of similar theme to it, like the near death experience that we've talked about before. That's used in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
The you're missing out on your life kind of idea is in both of them. But yeah, as you said, there's also like this aspect, and maybe this is the later perception of, and why it's not universally loved, is that there's this aspect of toxic masculinity creeping into it,
Mm-hmm.
where I don't know that was their intent, or is even the message there. I don't take that from it, but I can see where there are still people that are probably like, well, yeah, but they'd probably use some of this as life lessons or something. There's just a lot of interesting concepts, and yeah, like you said, quotable stuff. It's just a lot of it's fun, it's funny. I think it's really hilarious at parts. And then yeah, the the pure execution of the storytelling in such a convoluted, weird story is kind of amazing that they could pull it off at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at the moment.
I have a few thoughts.
Please, fire away.
This is a movie that I've always thought, like, everybody loves this movie so much, and I'm like, it's fine. And that's why I never watched it again, because I felt that at the beginning. I was like, okay. And part of me was like, well, I think that in some ways it does a lot, and it sets up a lot at the beginning that is really interesting, because it's, in some ways, it starts out as kind of like an anthem for the slightly older, a little more grown up Gen Xer, right? It like points out these things, you were raised by the television, not your parents, and all these little elements to kind of like explain what a generation is and how we've been, subjected to, just constant advertising and thinking consumption's important. And they really play off about how, that instead of looking at, pornography, he's looking at the IKEA catalog or whatever and having fantasies, before he turns. So it's, that part's cool. Like, it's interesting. He's, setting up one thing. And then you also have this thing about, like, I like the person who's not really there, who is somehow a guide, in some one way or the other, whether it's Harvey or from the movie Harvey, or Frank from Donnie Darko or whatever, or just, the people that don't exist, Mulholland Drive will show up on our review at some point. So it has that element. But then at some point, the movie just becomes so destructive, when at first it seemed like Tyler's like trying to teach him kind of like a Siddhartha sort of enlightenment. Like, you have to give up everything. He's living in squalor to, achieve, peace, or understanding who he is, or to be truly free. But then the other hand, you could step back and say, oh no, this is just a bunch of guys who hate themselves and society and how they think society looks at them and how they're going to get back, which is actually kind of the opposite message that Tyler was originally saying. Like, you don't need to, like at one point he was saying like, hey, be free, do what you want, that this is a way to freedom. But then somehow freedom turned into revenge, and because the idea of like blowing up a credit card company because somehow your credit debt will disappear. Like, I mean, we had the internet back then. Like, it's not like this was all just stored on like a piece of paper.
Right.
No, that piece of paper burnt up. I guess you don't have any credit problems anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So I feel like this movie was going one way, and at the same time, as much as I love criticizing it and all that, I usually like to come up with like what's a good alternative, and I really can't. Because if you just go the Enlightenment way, then it seems a little too much like a bunch of guys who like to fight each other and are cheerful and happy, and then the movie's over. What? Like what?
I think I would have liked it if at some point near the end someone acknowledges how dumb the plan is. Anyone.
Yeah. Well,
and just be like, well, just because you destroy a credit card company's building doesn't mean you're destroying their records. Like you said, there's the internet, there's backups, there's hard drives, there's hard copy. Like it's a bananas plan that's never going to work. And if someone would have just said that, maybe even several people said that, and then address it in that manner, like they're just doing it anyway, because ultimately the point isn't that. The point is anarchy,
Right.
The point is I'm mad and you can't tell me what to do, or whatever,
Right. Well, so Sam, you asked for an alternative. Well, the book, that's why I wanted to mention the book, is that the book's ending is the main difference. Instead of Ed Norton shooting Brad Pitt to death, kind of, I mean, we know it's not what he's doing. He's killing the persona of Tyler Durden, even though he's whatever his name is. In the book, he's not even given a name. He's just the narrator. And you could call him Jack because he's constantly quoting that book. I am Jack's raging bile duct and all that stuff. But he shoots himself, and then he is in heaven, and everything's white. But he's not actually in heaven. He's in an institution, and he meets with a doctor who he thinks is God, and he's like, oh, he's kind of, I think. I mean, that's the implication that he's in an institution and not dead. And then the orderlies and stuff are actually part of Project Mayhem, and they're like, "We can't wait to have you back, sir." And so it's kind of a, damned. It's a good ending because it doesn't give Tyler any credit for any of this. It just sort of more an extension of this crazy thing that can't be stopped anymore has gone out of control. I mean, I like that part of it. Nobody says this is a dumb plan because you don't ask questions about Project Mayhem. But yeah, I mean,
Marla should have been the one to say, well, that's stupid.
Right. And she's not convinced that he is actually part of this until she actually sees it shot or whatever. Yeah, and then you can also nitpick the fact that he does shoot himself and kind of walk away from it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of over that. But like to the credit card thing is, yeah, what did they actually accomplish, and what would be happily ever after for this couple? Like what? We're imagining that. Okay, he is no longer fighting with himself in his mind. He knows kind of what he is, and he wants to be more, present and not. I mean, he chose Marla, right? I think that's in the movie. Yeah. Like he chooses. He realizes he does once he realizes who he is and who that she's not, that he is in a relationship with her, that he chooses her over this lofty whatever mayhem goals that he has. and not just to be nice to keep her safe, but he actually does have feelings for her. And so, I mean, but that's up to interpretation. Like, do they do more mayhem? Do they completely? I mean, he should go to jail, right? I mean, probably.
Yeah.
But I guess because we've 2 hours of movie building up to that point, it's really hard to tie a bow on it. You just kind of, I think the building's blowing up and the Pixies playing for an ending is pretty serviceable. It still irks me a little bit because it's so like convenient for the whole point of the movie to kind of culminate in that is a little weird, but as a movie, it's a pretty good ending, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I can admit that.
I mean, I agree. I think I don't. My disagreement is just that it went to that. I think that if you, I think that because it's 20 some years later that we're looking at this, you realize that there's some really powerful messages that didn't seem so important back when we first saw it. I mean, in one, just watching those buildings fall, a couple of years before 9/11 was just,
Right.
A little bit in itself, like, oh my God, they doing the, like, I don't know, just that kind of parallel. But the other thing is that this parallel of, the men aren't fulfilling some destiny, whether like it's in their DNA, that Tyler was saying, like, has become a really real thing. Like to me, watching part of this, I was like, I actually think that this movie is probably part of like one of the important parts of a movement that is happening right now.
No, I thought you were talking about like
Yeah.
incels or something.
Well, that, and also like, so that was one of the thoughts I had, is like the incel, like the brainwashing, being important through violence, that sort of thing, but also this other attitude that I think Trump, tapped into, of that it's okay to be manly, and that men have not been as important as they used to be somehow, these
Right.
sorts of ideas, but their solution isn't really a solution, and that's what I think bothers me, is like, if you're really looking to solve something, I guess the problem I have is I'm so against violence as a solution to any problem that it just, that's where it falls apart. And I'm like like I'm,
Yeah.
like it worked, like it's fine in the movie, but at the same time, I feel like because so much else is serious, like if you're, the crazy person who seems like a messiah is, that's interesting. It's been done. It's done in other ways. But the solution doesn't, like, even though this doesn't end with him in the insane asylum, the police already seem to be onto him. They already the detective already seems to have him pegged by the end of the movie. And then all these things blow up using the same explosive. Like, what do you,
No,
what do we
10 different buildings were all rigged.
Right, but with
Okay.
the same type of explosive, this homemade explosive.
Yeah.
So what that means is that the next step isn't that far away. Like, he's going to be caught. Like, he's not.
Right.
This isn't he runs off with Marla and realizes he's somehow beat his split personality, and life is good for the rest of him. So I feel like it takes away, because of that destruction, it takes away from the messages and the teachings that could have been done. Like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's fair, because I don't know if that's what the author was trying to do, or if the author was just trying to say, hey, we've screwed up society so much that there's no real outlet. There's, like, the regular pathway no longer seems to work, because he has that little speech, about, that we are the important people. We're the people who make the day run. We're
Yeah.
the
All singing, all dancing crap in the world.
Mhm.
right, exactly. So it's so many like real messages, I think, that are important, that once you go crazy and blow everything up, you kind of lose the message.
Mhm.
Have you read any of his other books? I mean, I think that's kind of his. I think he has a bent for chaos and sort of in his storytelling, like Collateral Damage, like
Mhm.
uncomfortable reading, let's say.
Yeah.
What's I can't remember which books I'm thinking of, but
Choke.
Choke, yeah. You know, yeah, sort of a selfish con to get people to revive him, right? To do the Heimlich and save him, and that I think that he says they actually, it's kind of gets reversed, and they send him cards on his birthday and send him money, even though he is, well, of course he faked it, sort of thing, but like, why are they looking like it's just like subversive, like all the storytelling he does is subversive or has a weird, is skewed perspective to it.
Yeah.
So that's probably what you're feeling, is like the push of that. I think that is kind of where he's at. But yeah, that's why the ending and or that people might actually not be taking this, or might be taking it seriously, seems so at odds, because they are. I think.
Yeah, they are. I think the thing is that, and this is purely just me, is that I so much appreciated back then, probably more than now, because of just growing up, but the ideas of that you don't identify with your ego, you don't identify with your possessions, you don't identify with what job you have, what role you have in society. Like, to me, like, those are great lessons.
Yeah.
And I feel like when and he's, from what I've read about Chuck, if I may, from what I read about Chuck, is that when he gets an idea, he researches it. And so, like, one of his little factoids was that he was writing one page of a story had something about a serial killer, and just to make sure he was putting down what he wanted to do correctly, he read an entire book on serial killers, and different types of other stuff. And there were some other things that said that too. And so my assumption is that he's really looked at, he's just not making this up. Like, he's looked at kind of the psychology of this, and of being mentally free, and what I think Tyler actually says something about trying to stop being perfect. You're never going to be complete, so you're supposed to find fulfillment in a different way.
Right.
So it's like, okay, this guy's put a lot of thought into the psychology of what it is to, be fulfilled, but none of this that happens after that is actually going to be in any of those books. Like you're saying, like, Siddhartha doesn't, like, all of a sudden at the end, go crazy and kill everyone. So that, and it's interesting too, because he's doing it with a split personality,
Yeah.
which, so it's,
yeah, the back and forth of, like, him talking to himself or then talking to people, like the conversation that he has with Marla is, when he's like, Tyler isn't here, like that.
Right.
yeah,
You can see how it works both ways. Like, that it shouldn't work. Like, it should fall apart at some point completely, but it doesn't. It's still, like, it keeps working, which I think adds to it builds. It just keeps building. But yeah, I think it does fall off a cliff then.
well, I think so that, yeah, but
Spiritually, maybe.
Well, spiritually, the realizing that it's you who frees yourself. You obtain your freedom through your own mind, your own thoughts. You can have mentors that help push you there, but it's ultimately you who who frees yourself. So this, like, having Tyler be himself and be the one who gets him there, and then realizing he doesn't need Tyler, that he's free. Like you genuinely believe it at the end of the movie when he's telling Marla this, that he's like, it's okay. Like he's figured it all out. And he's also figured out at that point, he's like, wait, violence isn't part of this, but for some reason it is, like it, with 3 seconds to go, so, but I think that, from a Zen Buddhism standpoint, he put a lot of it in there into this vehicle that ultimately, I think, turned a lot of people off initially and can be misused to actually feel, like I said, feel an incel, when that is kind of the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I'm boring Cohen. He's yawning. So. He's like,
first
oh
rule
my God.
about yawning.
Yawn.
No, I agree with your viewpoint. Like because I remember watching it in '99, and I was eating that stuff up. Like, you are not your wallet, you are not your job. I mean, especially as someone who had no idea what he was doing when he was.
Especially someone who had no job and no
right,
apartment.
Right, it was not a stretch for me at all.
This was easy. I'm not
I
anything I
don't
own.
need all that IKEA crap. Yeah, screw that. Can't afford it. But yeah, no, but no, I think that the message is really strong. Like you said, there's a basis for it. There's meaning to it, and then that makes you. The problem I find is that you like Tyler Durden too much.
Yeah.
You just, I mean, not just because it's Brad Pitt, but you just like the uber person, the guy that you want to be. It really, I think if they had pulled away the Fight Club, I mean, it's called Fight Club, the catchiest stuff is about the fighting and the rules and the way that they all tapped into something, but really it isn't the violence. It shouldn't be the violence, because it's the discovery. Yeah, I mean, like doing the kiss on your hand thing, that all the stuff he's doing, like letting go of the wheel on a car to just let it crash. I mean, it's insane, but there's always a method to the madness. And if you didn't, I don't know. I want to follow Tyler Durden like everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like, well, but we are still just sheep. We're just blindly following a new leader here instead of being good consumers and following advertisers. Now we're following him instead. So you're still making a choice there. But I don't think that are supposed to be any answers. I think David Fincher even said that there's really no answers here. There's an ending, but there's no answers to these problems.
Right.
I'm my favorite part is how much they were interested in The Graduate, because I think that film is really exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
And it has some similar themes, but I think he tried to get Buck Henry, who wrote The Graduate, to do this, to be involved in this, and it didn't work out. But he said it was kind of like the opposite. Instead of because The Graduate, I can't remember Dustin Hoffman's character's name at the moment, but Ben
Bradley.
Ben, that sounds right. It's definitely Ben, yeah. And he's got all the opportunities. He's got his whole life ahead of him. He's got really nothing to complain about, but he still has that angst and that he doesn't know what he's doing. He desperately wants to figure it out. Ben Braddock.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then you've got Tyler Durden, or whatever Ed Norton's name is, but he doesn't really have it going, and he feels trapped in this job. And he's a little older now. We're talking about like around 30 or something. So it's a different. I mean, it's the same vibe, but they're coming at it from different angles, but they both have like, they're both pretty nuts. The stories are nuts and enjoyable along the way, and you don't really know what's going to happen, and you're not really sure what the morality is set aside. At least for me, it is. I try to not think about this as like, should we follow Tyler, or is he right or wrong about everything? It's more like, I can see why you'd want to go on this crazy journey, because modern life can be really confusing, whether you have opportunities or not. I mean, especially if you don't, then you don't have the opportunity to explore it. But everybody needs to do a little self-discovery at some point. We don't have to all fight each other, beat each other up to do it, but there are ways to do this. I mean, like the veterinarian guy, like he's not going to go back in 6 weeks and check up on him and see if he's actually becoming a veterinarian. But also, like, you know, he said, let's make sure you go back. It's not enough schooling. Go back to school. Like, you think he never thought of that before? I mean, you know, you put a gun to somebody's head, they'll come up with what they really wanted to do and missed out on. But I don't think most people need a gun to their head to do that. But it's a convenient example of like, well, look, you have a crappy job, you're living in this weird little apartment, and you want more for yourself. Do it. You know? So it's hard to separate those two things.
I guess so, but I think Tyler's point is that a lot of people do need a near-death experience to change, right?
Yeah, and he's helping them do that.
And he, like that's just one of those other lessons. Like, why does someone need a near-death experience to change what's wrong in their life? You know, like that's how easy it is to get stuck in a rut. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think I totally agree with you. Like, you know, Tyler is so bold and confident that how could you not like that? Because he is 99.9% of all other people are not as confident and bold as he is. And for most of us, we're like, those are great qualities, you know, like he
Right.
stole someone's car walking out of the airport. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's way better than waiting for the shuttle. Like,
yeah. Is it, where's your car? What car?
Right. It's awesome.
Well, that's why he has to be imaginary, right? Because no one could be that bold and nuts and and then have a normal existence.
Right. He's a fantasy. He's a daydream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be appealing. It's designed to be appealing. That's why he created this figment of his imagination. All right. So let's talk about the fighting though. Like we have to get around to this eventually. First of all, has anybody been in a fight?
Not like that, no.
Other than, do you remember Tom's Basement?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember? Okay, so I know Rick Carlson was there. I know you were there, Cohen, and I was there, Tom, Mike, maybe. And somebody had boxing gloves.
Oh.
I mean, we didn't actually knuckle fight each other, but we just like got the gloves on and we like kind of went at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being very skittish and backing up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. I don't think I think maybe a couple punches. I think it was, I fought you a little bit and you fought Rick, I think.
I don't really remember that.
But it was exhilarating and ridiculous. It was totally ridiculous. Like, we were all laughing, but we were all kind of like, what are we doing, you know? But yeah, I think that's as close to actual hand-to-hand real combat I've been in that I can think of. I mean, I've been in dicey situations, but I'm not like, you know, in a ring-like situation or something.
Right.
But the adrenaline is real. I do remember when I wrestled very, very briefly. I had like 3 matches.
And like a broken collarbone, right?
I broke the collarbone, which was a nice excuse to quit. But yeah,
yes,
it was like
this is a convenient way to get out of doing
really
the rest of the season.
Yep. I just never showed up again. That was it. I didn't even tell the coach. But yeah, it's like the cliches that they say are true. Like, there's a gym full of people and you don't hear anything, but like you're very like locked in. It's very it's weird. But it didn't go, oh yeah, this is the rush I need in my life, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just a tangent. Is my memory correct that that night at the match when you broke your collarbone and you guys came back to the school and we overlapped because we had a basketball game that night?
Yeah.
And you were complaining because it hurt.
Yeah.
Do I remember this right? That Tom convinced you to try and do some push-ups?
Yeah, Tom came to my house that night, and I was still complaining, and he had seen Lethal Weapon 2 far too many times, where Riggs whacks his shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dislocated shoulder. That
right.
might work.
A little
Which
different.
I've done.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know what it was broken at that time. We just knew it hurt, but he thought maybe it's dislocated. And he's like, "Yeah, do a push-up. Try a push-up." And I did, and it hurt like hell, and it was stupid. And
oh man.
But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stupid stuff. Like, young men especially do stupid shit, like skateboarding, falling off and getting hurt or something, like thing. And there's glory to it. There's this aspect of this thrilling, or like jumping into a lake with your bike or something like that. Like the stupid stuff that we did, there was meaning to it, even though we didn't know what it was. But it felt like we were doing something. We were testing ourselves, trying something.
Yeah.
So there's an extension to that. But that is a very childlike, early. Like when you're 30, you should probably be a little bit past most of that. Maybe.
No,
I don't know.
no, it's changed now because now it's MMA and other sorts of things. Like I had to sew up someone who was a school teacher who had got their face really messed up doing MMA, and I'm like thinking, like, God, I can't imagine one of any of our grade school teachers any year you pick it. Like, can you imagine any of our grade school teachers getting just beat up on the weekend, like just so much so that they needed stitches, and like it exists, like that's what people do that now. So I think in some ways Fight Club exists, but just in a more like not in the crappy basement of a bar like that. I think that exists. It's people don't box as much anymore, but there's still plenty of Fight Club on that. But yeah, I mean, the body cannot take those hits. That's for certain. My God, but that's every movie. I mean,
sure.
Yeah,
We're used to violence in general, so it's.
Yeah.
I think if I had to, I mean, my definitely my favorite fight part is him beating himself up in that office with his boss. I mean, that's got to be.
Yeah, that's great. And I like the scene where Lou kicks the shit out of Brad Pitt. And he's like, "You don't know where I've been, Lou," and he's laughing, and he's just acting totally psychotic.
He freaks out the gangster Lou, who's trying to beat him up. He's like, "Yeah, beat me up, beat me up, beat me up." No, but the look on his boss's face and the fact that he called security, so he kind of did it to himself, and it's just perfect. And of course, Ed Norton's performance is great. He's like, "Oh," and just the look on his face, everything he does is just brilliant.
Did you guys see that? Chuck said part of the inspiration of this was that he actually did get beat up. He was camping, and he told some other campers in a neighboring campsite to quiet down, and they beat the crap out of him. And when he showed up to work the next week, people just kind of ignored, like no one asked him. They saw the bruises, but nobody talked to him about it. So he's like, "Oh, what if you that was the inspiration? What if you were fighting over the weekend?" And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of true, because if a guy comes to work, you just with that. But if a woman comes to work with bruises on her face, then everyone just assumes the worst.
Yeah.
But people stay quiet. I showed up to work. I broke my nose playing basketball. Well, I didn't. Someone else's elbow. I was not having my Ed Norton moment. Oh, take that. So yeah, I broke my nose. Had a black and blue eye. Came to work, and I think I just got teased for it.
A lot of sympathy. Huh?
Yeah, and one of my partners put it back in place in the exam room. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's like, aren't you a little old for playing basketball? No.
No. Basketball's great, man. I love competition and sport and stuff like that. But yeah, MMA was just like too far for me. I don't know if it's not the blood. It's just that it's like the lack of rules. I think. I mean, I like to know what's going to happen in a contest and know why they're doing stuff. And with MMA, it's like you can do just about damn anything, right? You can choke them out, you can punch them, you can kick them, you can do all kinds of stuff, and you have no idea what they're going to do. I don't know. I don't know why I'm saying that. Who cares?
There are rules.
There are rules. I mean, I know
there's just not as many as like a boxing match.
Right.
And there used to be no rules.
Right.
In the very early days, there was no weight classes. It was a literal like last man standing, whose style is best kind of shit,
Right.
And then as it became more popular, they started instituting rules, and it became a more legitimate sport instead of just like a sideshow kind of thing.
That's true. I have watched it recently, but I remember it being kind of just crazy, no holds barred. I remember seeing it for the first time in Oshkosh at your place, like a New Year's Eve or something. And,
yeah.
And it was like, whoa, what? So
yeah,
anything goes.
Back then, yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, I don't know if we have to cover the entire issue of fighting, but I mean, as it relates to the movie, it's I assume it's about testing yourself. It's about taking power back. I think, like if you come in Bruce to work and no one notices, what does that say about, your work environment or your, I mean, obviously I'm not saying that no one cared about you, but it, like what does he say about like you can swallow a pint of blood before you get sick or
That's not true either.
I don't. Yeah. You can swallow more.
No, there's plenty of people who throw up with a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Blood's nauseating.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you guys hear that?
I heard a little wobble or something.
Thunder. Very loud thunder. Now my dog is cowering somewhere, vibrating and panting. Oh well.
Yeah, I think the violence is overshadowing what's. I mean, maybe I'm getting caught up on this too much because it doesn't ruin the movie for me. I still really enjoy this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes is like 96 audience, and the critics are like 80, which sounds about right to me.
Yeah. I see that. I always, speaking of violence in this movie, I always appreciated that, like, there is some restraint. There is like in Edward Norton or Tyler Durden's mind, there is like a limit, I guess, or like there's a line, and there's like a moral compass to a certain extent, because the only person who ever gets really hurt is Bob, who gets killed by a security guard.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, what did you think was going to happen? You're running around with masks on, blowing shit up. Of course, but other than that, it's like, their homework assignments. I want you to start a fight with someone, a stranger, but lose, and things like that. And, for the most part, they make even the buildings. They're like, we control the buildings. They're all our people. There's nobody,
no one got killed,
so yeah. So it's like, they're not truly hurting anybody but themselves, really, and then property and whatever
vandalism.
I don't know, but I appreciate that. Like, it would be a very different movie if it truly was sort of anarchy and just like fuck them all, kind of shit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be as good.
You just reminded me that Tyler Durden's he's the only time he really gets upset is when he beats up Jared Leto.
Yeah.
He's like, what? I mean, he kind of gives him some grief, like, what's up with that,
Yeah.
And he's like, I wanted to destroy something beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the meanest moment in the movie probably because it's like it's part of the fight, but we all know like you tap out or once you on top of somebody beating them unconscious, you stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is consistent in MMA and pretty much all sport, boxing. Like once the guy is beat or woman, whatever it is, the ref calls it off because there's no point to pummeling someone unconscious. But yeah, then it's, I mean, in that case, because he's so pretty, he loses a tooth, he looks all messed up, and but yeah, Tyler is the one who reacts to that. I don't know. I just thought that was very important. Like that, all of them choose to be there. Everyone that goes to a fight club is there for a reason. They know why they're there. There's no consent forms, but obviously they know they are going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the point. But then there's that part of it. Like, no, you don't just lose your shit and, So maybe there is some morality to this whole thing, but it's convoluted.
Yeah.
Did you see who else was like possibly cast for Helena Bonham Carter's role?
Supposed to be Reese Witherspoon, right?
She was in there.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
That's a weird one.
That's a weird one.
I think, again, I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought her acting was great. I think she is a great actor.
Great.
It's a great choice.
Yeah.
I have a hard time picturing anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, Reese Witherspoon. How would you? And who else? Oh, Russell Crowe could have maybe been involved as the Edward. Well, no, was he?
He was
Tyler.
he was supposed to be the Brad Pitt character, I think.
Yeah.
Or someone wanted him at some point. I don't know. I guess I can kind of see it, but he would just be just different. It wouldn't be, I don't know, as much fun.
Yeah.
Or something. And not as cool, like Brad Pitt's cool. He's just in this, his character's cool, and like Russell Crowe would be more of more like a tough guy than just like a cool guy.
Right.
I think.
But you don't want to look like a ringer because then it just kind of, it should look something like Edward Norton.
Mm-hmm.
There's similar height.
Yeah.
And he lost weight for the role, but he's already kind of skinny, and Brad Pitt's working out and looking good for the role and all that stuff. And
yeah,
it just works. But the casting was good.
Yeah.
How many times has the Pixies been used at the end of a movie? I was wondering that. I've wondered that a couple times. I know I've heard it in other movies.
David Fincher initially tried to get Radiohead to provide the music for the film.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting choice.
Yes.
Colin, we saw that face you made. Well, yeah, it's a good song, but it's also, I don't know. It's a good ending.
Yeah, I mean, it's very appropriate. The lyrics make sense. Where's my mind?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great song too.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Did you watch the whole credits? Because the credits finish with the very end of the song, and Kim Deal's still singing, and then like after all the stuff, and then it's like the last thing you hear is the end of the song.
Oh,
I don't know why that's. I guess I mentioned that because sometimes they do an ending of the movie, and then 30 seconds later some new song starts, and you're still you're still sitting in the theater, and you're like, this song this sounds wrong,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Fincher knows how to break down a scene, like with the IKEA stuff, and I don't know how he does such interesting camera work. I guess that's a lot of it's computer stuff, like the beginning, the opening credits with the gun and the microscopic.
I mean, I would imagine he has an extensive background in music videos directing, so I imagine that is a huge sort of influence on his style.
Yeah. Okay.
But as his movies have gone, I feel like he's matured for sure as a filmmaker. Seven and Fight Club in particular feel almost like 2-hour music videos to a certain extent. But as he goes on, I feel like culminating to a certain extent with The Social Network, which is a far more mature movie than anything he had done before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Zodiac. Those two, I feel like he's really starting to shine as a filmmaker. I mean, Social Network won a bunch of Oscars and shit, and I mean, Aaron Sorkin wrote it.
Aaron Sorkin.
It's gonna be tough to make a crappy movie based on an Aaron Sorkin script. Yeah, he's a great writer. So.
Right.
But yeah.
I'm trying to think of what specifically I like about it, but I just think he knows how to put a movie together.
Sure.
Somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. I was thinking that he was the one that he read the book. So it had 20th Century Fox got it, but Chuck got $20,000 to option the rights, and did I say $10,000?
Yeah.
$10,000. But they didn't. People weren't. Hollywood wasn't like, oh, well, let's make this movie. They were like, no. A lot of people passed on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of directors passed on it. They had some big name directors in mind. I would say David O. Russell didn't get it or something, or as he's not a good example. Anyway, but David Fincher read the book, liked it a lot, and then it seemed like it was more of a passion project. He was excited about doing it,
mm-hmm.
and I can see how it could really go wrong with someone that didn't really believe in it or maybe understand it well enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't know how he pulled it off. It's on the face of it, it's kind of a hokey movie, if you know what I mean. In the sense of The Sixth Sense is
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it, but what he does with it, it shouldn't work.
Yeah.
I'll stop repeating myself. Maybe let somebody else talk. Or we could move on. Are we about done?
You want to know what we're doing next? I did have one gripe.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he goes to see the doctor,
mm-hmm.
the chest x-ray is upside down in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why is the x-ray on the, it's one of the old-fashioned x-rays that they put up on the light box.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is the x-ray upside down? Anyway, no answer.
Maybe it's intentional to prove that the doctor's a dipshit.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I feel like David Fincher has a reputation for being extraordinarily meticulous, and it makes me wonder. It doesn't seem like he would make a mistake like that.
I didn't even Google it. Do you think that Brad Pitt was playing his 12 Monkeys role some way?
Kind of.
California?
Kind of.
I think Brad Pitt's really good at Unhinged.
He is. And I really like him when he does sort of, like the Unhinged, the Quirk, his odd roles like Snatch.
Yeah.
This 12 Monkeys. Even his bit part in True Romance is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He really does a lot with very little screen time in that movie. But yeah, in California, and I can't think of any other sort of where he's playing an eccentric character like that.
Burn After Reading, he's kind of like a dimwit.
Yeah.
Different.
I always thought he was a little miscast in that. He's a little too old for that role, I thought. I don't know.
I mean, the whole cast is pretty old, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, just his character just seems like it should have been a lot younger.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, gym guy that's buff and biking around and stuff.
Yeah, and his sort of whole persona felt like 25 instead of 45, or however old he was when he made that.
Oh, I forgot it was the Dust Brothers that did almost all of the non-music. Back when you could sample everything you wanted. Miss those days.
All right, you want to know what we're doing next?
Please.
Sure.
We're going back in time.
Sweet.
Not literally with that's not the movie.
It's not Back to the
Oh,
Future.
it's not.
No. So I picked two movies from the same year, and then I was looking, and I couldn't find that one of them existed without paying for it. And so, of course, knowing that my audience, or at least
I appreciate
it. At least some of my audience.
You are not your streaming services. You are not your bank account.
Yes. So yeah, the one that we couldn't see, I just couldn't find a free version of it. So I picked a different movie from 1982. 1983. I'm a year off. 1983 movie. That is a director I believe we've covered before, who God, if I say a single thing that he's done or even his style, you'll know it.
What was Spielberg in 1983?
Let's see. It has Martin Sheen in it.
Oh.
As a hint. God, anything else I say is just going to give it away right away.
Martin Sheen.
Well, we did Apocalypse Now.
Is it Terrence Malick?
No.
Okay. Is it Steven Spielberg?
No.
Okay.
Martin Sheen. He didn't do anything with George Lucas.
83.
Yeah. This is David Cronenberg.
Oh.
Martin Sheen. Oh, is it The Dead Zone?
Yep.
Right, Martin Sheen plays the president, doesn't he?
Yeah, he plays the politician.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't give you Christopher Walken. I mean,
No,
come
no.
on. As soon as I'd say Christopher Walken.
Wait, The Dead Zone. Who's the director?
That was earlier.
You said it's David Cronenberg?
Yeah, it's David Cronenberg.
Yeah, wasn't that?
Right.
It's a Stephen King story about the guy who wakes up from a coma and is psychic, and when he shakes people's hands, he knows like their future.
He touches them, right?
Yeah, kind of like
He gets flashes of their future.
Why am I confusing it with the helicopter accident in
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, you're thinking Twilight Zone.
That's Twilight Zone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Different zone.
Dead Zone. I don't think I've seen The Dead Zone.
Really?
Doesn't ring a bell.
I remember reading the book. I don't remember watching the movie, but I'm pretty sure I watched it. Because I think that, or maybe it's been lampooned, kind of Christopher Walken.
It has.
Yes.
He did it. And he did it on SNL.
Yeah.
They called him like the pedestrian psychic or something.
Yeah.
And he'd touch someone and he'd be like, tonight, you'll have pasta. It will be slightly overcooked. Or whatever.
All right. I think we should save this for the next time.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's on Pluto. And as one of the places you can see it.
Pluto's not too bad. I can suffer through a few commercials. Maybe.
Well, you don't have to.
I don't have to. And if I've never seen it, I shouldn't. I think that's my unwritten rule, is that if I've seen it before, I can suffer through some lesser version, but I might have to pay the $5 or whatever.
I don't have it either.
You don't even have to pay that much.
No?
It's $3.99 on Amazon.
There you go.
And Fandango and YouTube and Google Play and Apple TV. Apparently there's price fixing out there.
Damn.
So there is price fixing out, yeah. And it's not just movies, it's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, God, that makes
all
me
that
mad.
Data they have, yeah. They know.
Band together and create a fight club. All right, that's enough movie buff. I'm out.
Well, this has been our best episode ever by far.
Yes. Winner, chicken dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Happens to Betsy. Some of your jokes are so funny.